All right, Shalom. First and foremost, call halal Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders and bishops of Great Millstone, who taught me his truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopefully elect, as well as those that believe in the gospel. Shalom. Pretty much just wanted to go into a quick lesson, on what's going on with the EU and Russia, and what this can lead to. Here in the article, it talks about how Europe, they're eventually gonna have to ration gas, because Russia is using the oil and the natural gas, pretty much as a weapon. All right. So it says the EU has unveiled its emergency gas rationing plan a day before it fears Russia could drastically cut the flow of natural gas to the continent. The Save Gas for a Safe Winter plan announced Wednesday. Wednesday sets a target for the 27 member states to reduce their gas demand by 15% between August and March next year. That reduction is based on countries' average gas consumption during the same months on the previous 5 years. All right. So, this is all a product pretty much of those sanctions, man. All right. The EU is in alliance with America. All right. They have that NATO and EU alliance. All right. In which they have collectively come together to agree to not use Russian oil and gas. All right. Let me pull that article up real quick. This is it says can the world cope without oil and gas? All right, talking about Russia. It says several European countries say they have received significantly less Russian gas than expected in recent weeks. Gas flows have been halted completely from major pipeline into Europe for annual maintenance, with Germany expressing fears the shutdown could become permanent. Western leaders have imposed a series of sanctions on Russian oil and gas following the invasion of Ukraine. There are warnings Russia may stop supplying gas to Europe this winter in retaliation. All right, it says the EU has agreed to ban all Russian imports which come in by sea by the end of this year. It will allow oil to continue to be imported by pipeline, with EU leaders saying this is a temporary measure. So, because countries like Hungary and Slovakia depend on it, the EU has also committed to reducing gas imports from Russia by 2/3 within a year, but it has been hard to get agreement on any further measures, such as an outright import ban. All right, it was that pretty much be dumb, on their part. It's gonna say further down how much gas pretty much is imported in those nations that's closer to Russia and Europe. But it just won't be a good idea, for them to try to exist solely without using Russia, man. It just won't be a good idea. All right. That's why they can't get an agreement on an outright import ban. All right. It says, in addition to these EU sanctions, the U.S. has declared a complete ban on Russian oil and gas imports. All right. The U.K. is to phase out Russian oil imports by the end of the year. It was the U.S., they're all the way on a different side. Well, not all the way, but, they're not connected with Europe. All right. It's separated by water. All right. In which the U.S. goes about, and can go about getting the oil and gas in a different way. All right. It says President Putin has demanded that unfriendly nations in Europe pay for gas in Russian rubles, which will help prop up the value in currency. Poland, Bulgaria, and Finland refused to do so, and Russia cut off their supplies. All right, because pretty much, these sanctions have backfired on the EU and the US. All right, you got gas and oil, pretty much. Maybe it's been going down in the US, maybe 20 or 30 cents recently. But, before that, things were at a all-time high. Every week, it was a new record for how high the gas was, all right? And things were even worse in the EU, all right? And so if they can't get gas from Russia and they have to start gas rationing, that's going to have a domino effect on the people, all right? That's going to cause more civil unrest. The people are going to be in more of an uproar, all right? You have, say you commute to work, you might use half a tank of gas a week, all right? So if they start rationing gas, then, you might can only get a quarter tank, man. And if you can get a quarter tank, then you can only make it to work, maybe 2-3 times a week or whatnot. That's just a scenario on how that can play out. Then you can't make it to work, can't pay the bills, It's just like it's a domino effect, And let me get this word ration in the online etymology. Let's see. I'll just get the root word. It says ration. Let me get the point. It says a fixed allowance of food or other means of subsistence for a fixed period of time. And, that's what I was just talking about. They're going to fix how much gas you can get. Even if you want to fill your tank up, all right, well, no, you can only get a half a tank, all right? There's going to be a ripple effect of them not being able to get the kind of gas that they need, all right? Let's see. All right. And this says, how much does Europe rely on Russian gas? Russia supplied the EU with 40% of its natural gas last year. All right. That's a lot of gas, bro. 40%. So even if, you ration the gas, you only can use 60% of what you would normally use. All right. You're losing out pretty much on almost half of your gas supply, man. That's huge. All right. And this is pretty much like a little chart here, going by the billion cubic meters, of the exports of Russian gas to those EU countries, in which Germany is almost at 43 billion cubic meters. All right. You got Italy at 29, Belarus at 18, 19, Turkey at 16, Netherlands at 16. So, I mean, that would, without a doubt, that would lead, to pretty much an economic collapse, man. All right. These issues are bigger than what they make it seem. Okay. Because a lot of things run off natural gas and oil, and different things like that. A lot of things that's operated day-to-day basis, it needs gas, needs oil, all right? And the prime example would be your car, all right? And so this is another article I pretty much was reading, and, and real quick, let me make this point, because this can very well lead to what's that, Jeremiah 51, all right? Those nations that's drinking of that wine, all right, following after America, which that wine goes into democracies and, the philosophy of America. But, these nations are joined unto them, all right? They're a part of that system, all right? This is Jeremiah 51:7. It says, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right. And so if these nations, if they start going to shit, you know, if they start collapsing, they're gonna be mad, man. All right. Because they made a pact with America, all right, to sanction Russia, and everything backfired. All right. So now they're looking at America like, what are you gonna do? All right. What are you gonna do to help us out? In which, is the options are limited for America. All right. Let me get back to this article. It says, I'm gonna just start. It says what's happening. Just to give a further look into, this problem that's quickly, coming into play. All right. It says Russia has been cutting off countries from supplies with an apparent move to hinder their efforts to fill their gas storage before the winter. Over the past week, Gazprom has cut supplies running through Europe's major natural gas pipeline, Nord Stream 1, by 60%. This has triggered supply cuts in Italy, Austria, the Czech Republic, and Slovakia. Gas has also been shut off for a string of other countries, including Poland, Bulgaria, France, and the Netherlands. An explosion at a huge Freeport liquefied natural gas facility in the Texas Gulf Coast, which shipped gas to Europe, has also squeezed supplies. All right. It says, can Europe replace Russian gas by the winter? Which is in a couple of months. You got August, September, October. All right. Starts getting cooler. Well, down here, it starts getting cooler in October. By November, it gets a little chilly. All right. But it says, no chance. Before the war, Russia supplied 40% of Europe's gas supplies, so limitations on storing gas or ramping up imports of liquefied natural gas in certain countries, including Germany, make replacing Russian gas entirely near impossible in the short term. All right. So they trying to have this done, all right, within the next couple of months, when in reality, Russia can just go and cut their shit off tomorrow, man. All right. Those hooks are in Putin's jaws, man. He ready to, just do something else. All right. So, that could be very possible. All right. It says EU leaders have downplayed the likelihood of a total ban on Russian gas, as it is seen as impractical and politically divisive. All right. Because, you pretty much asking, for your economy to collapse when you've been dependent on this certain country to produce natural gas for you for so long, man. And you cutting out 40% of the supply that you get. That's totally divisive. All right. It says instead, nations are racing to fill up their storage caverns earlier in the year than usual because, they fear that Russia might just cut them off completely, man. All right. It says Europe's underground storage cavern are 57% currently full. The European Commission has asked each country to reach 80% storage by the start of November, all right, which is 3 months. You got August, you got a couple weeks, maybe a week and a half left in July. So you got August, September, October, all right? So by the end of October, pretty much 3 months, It says, with Germany targeting 90%. By the same point, however, without Russian gas, these targets will be hard to meet. The only way they'll get near the target is by paying very high prices. All right, and they've been paying very high prices, and the prices that they're gonna have to pay is gonna be in the ruble, man. All right, you already got the U.S. dollar that's pretty much, for the first time in a long time, if not first time in history, is actually like a penny less than what the euro is. All right, I think the euro is like $1, and the U.S. dollar is like 99 cents to that. All right, so even if they need the U.S. help, in which the U.S. they don't want to deal with Russia at all, and they have to buy in a ruble, then they're gonna be paying way more than what they would normally pay, just because they put sanctions on them, man. All right, and if the U.S. don't help them out, then why wouldn't they be angry about that? That would make a nation turn on you. All right, because basically you sunk the ship and you wasn't there to help us out, man. So it says well, I'll stop at. Okay, yeah. Very high prices. The U.S. is sending what's LNG, natural gas, to Europe over Asia because countries in Europe are paying more. All right, and that's the whole debacle, man. All right, you're gonna overpay for something, which is gonna send the prices that the consumers have to pay for it skyrocketing. All right, and if you don't have enough of that product, it's gonna be rationed out. So all of that's gonna lead to the civil unrest, man. More uproars of the people. All right. So let me see. I got one more article. Yeah. So pretty much going into what all of these things will lead to. All right. It says Russia could cut off gas supply to Europe. The International Energy Agency has warned that Russia could cut gas supplies to Europe entirely in order to boost its leverage against the West. Following Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, Russia has severely restricted gas flows to Europe in recent days. The Kremlin blames a delay in servicing equipment caused by European Union sanctions, while Europe accuses the Kremlin of playing geopolitics. Considering this recent behavior, I wouldn't rule out Russia continuing to find different issues here and there and continuing to find excuses to further reduce gas deliveries to Europe and maybe even cut it off completely. Executive Director Faith Barrow said in a statement to the Reuters news agency, "This is the reason Europe needs contingency plans. A full cutoff of Russian gas will plunge Europe into an energy crisis." All right, gas supplies from Russia at the moment, pipeline supplies that is, are literally a quarter of what they were a year ago. So the volumes are very, very low, and clearly that's causing concerns. It means rebuilding storage stocks ahead of the upcoming winter is that much more difficult. All right, a quarter of where it was last year, man. All right. And, gas is, like I said, natural gas is used for a host of things, man. Okay? So, this is going to put those countries, man, in a tough position. All right? But also, this can be a domino effect of what's to come, So yeah, man. I just wanted to bring that out, real quick because, I believe that this is important. This is something that you should keep an eye on because, these things coming down the pipe, And eventually, you know, Europe, they're gonna have to deal with Russia, man. They won't be able to withstand not dealing with Russia at all right? And especially if they cut off these pipelines, then, you know, it's gonna take a toll, you know, on the citizens there, all right? So, you know, it take a toll on the citizens, it leads to more civil unrest, all right? And we know what this thing's about, man. All right. Ultimately, to push forward, you know, the solution. All right. The solution to the problem is that one world currency. All right. So you won't have to spend more on the Russian ruble or the U.S. dollar. All right. You know, just take this CHIP and things will be much better. All right. So, you know, Abaratazar, this lesson was edifying, you know, and informative on what's going on over here, you know, because real quick, you know, let me show this video I just came across on Twitter. You know, things could definitely lead up to this type of state, man. This is in Panama, all right? It says the citizens of Panama has begun clashing with authorities due to the dissatisfaction with the high cost of living, particularly gas and food, all right? And like I said earlier, you know, if they can't deal with Russia with the gas and it's going to be too high, this is exactly what it's going to lead to, all right? And I'm going to play this video and I'm going to end it off like that. All right, uproars of the people, civil unrest, all right? They won't regard the kings, no princes. You know how the whole story go, man. 2nd Esdras 15, all right? All right, you know, you already had the guy, they broke into his house in Sri Lanka, you know, but, you know, so that's pretty much it, man. You know, so Abaratazar's lesson was edifying. Call Allah Ibn Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash. All right, double honors once again to the apostles, the elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Taught me this truth and peace, blessings, and citations to the hopefully elect, as well as those that believe on the gospel. Till the next time, man. Shalom.